Go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. Welcome to the superpilotish channel. Today, my name is Gray Wilson today, and today in my basement, I'm going to be talking about who has the right of way between a seaplane and a boat if they're on the water. And why did I whip out the old armchair here? Can you see the armchair? Armchair quarterback time, or armchair captain over here, captain of a boat or captain of an airplane. So, recently, I'm not going to get into too much accident, investigation and stuff like that. That gets all the clicks and likes and everything, but I'm just going to talk in general about there was an accident that happened between a de Havilland Beaver and like a smaller motorboat that happened out on the west coast here in Canada. Luckily, everybody walked away, swam away with, there was some injuries, but there were no deaths. So on that happy no death note, welcome, Shecky. So yeah, so it's unfortunate. And if you're driving your car anywhere, if you're walking down the street, you're riding your bicycle, you do, accidents happen. And but this really got me thinking, this particular one, because oh, hey Rich, welcome to the show. So I was thinking about this accident between the float plane. We call them float planes if we're pilots. The legal name is seaplane, but okay. So there's a float plane and a boat. They had a collision. So that got me thinking, because I am qualified and I have flown in seaplanes before as a pilot. And I was just taught when I was getting that classification or that rating for my license that, oh, okay, well, if you're on the water, you're a boat. If you're up in the air, you're an airplane. It's like, okay, well, I know all the rules of the air, okay, or most of them, the important ones, anyways. And then on I don't have a boating license, so I don't know. I just figure stay away from everything and play it safe, right? Usually works, but things get busy and you get distracted, and one thing can lead to another. So I actually looked up who has the right of way between a plane. This plane was taking off on the water, and a boat. So I'll kind of use the old whiteboard here and describe what was happening. So all right, so this airplane was going this way. That is exactly what the de Havilland Beaver looks like. Okay, so he was going this way. And there was also a boat. I don't know. Have I ever driven a boat or drawn a boat here before? Let's see how good I am at drawing a boat. Ooh, that is one good looking boat. And I don't know if it was an outboard motor or what, but I don't know. How's that for a boat? So they were coming this way, and they kind of oops, and the plane kind of popped over top of the boat when it was there. It was just like a smaller boat. So that's how it happened. So this guy, if you're thinking about it, if you're driving your car and you come up to a stop sign, so that's right on your driver's test when you do the written test for it before you get your driver's license. You pull up to a four-way stop, two cars show up at the same time. Who has the right of way? So if you imagine there's a stop sign here and a stop sign here, okay, and then it'd be the person on the right has the right of way. I kind of think of it right of way. So it's the same thing with airplanes. If this was an airplane flying in the air and another airplane flying here, the one coming from this pilot's right would have the right of way, and then this person would have to either change the altitude, which you can't do on the water, turn right, turn left, and get out of the way. I don't know, turn over this way somewhere. But it's this guy is the right of way. You can slow down. So there's things you can do, but the float plane in this particular accident was just about to take off, so it was getting pretty fast. And once an airplane on the water starts getting fast, close to takeoff speed, it's not very maneuverable. You can maybe use your rudder to turn it, a few degrees here and there to the right or left, But this guy here, he could just crank the wheel and get out of the way. So that is kind of what happened. And of course, the Transportation Safety Board here in Canada will be investigating that, and they will publish their findings. And I'm sure it's pretty complicated because there had to be a whole lot of things to go wrong before a collision like that would happen. But today, I'm just going to talk about legally, what do you do just in case I ever fly a float plane again? And I want to know I'm doing it right. So I did look up, and I'm going to be kind of cheating. I have my computer here, and so I did a little Google search on who has the right of way for boats. And so for boats, I don't really know anything about it, but I found this website called boatsmartexam.com. So I guess that's if you're doing a written test to get your boating license, this is what you have to know. And then for the right of way, what I was looking here was, okay, generally what happens for boats, it's the same as airplanes. So whichever airplane, whichever aircraft is more maneuverable, okay, that's the one that has to get out of the way. So you learn that before you even go solo in an airplane, that if you're flying your Cessna or your ultralight or something like that, you have to give way to balloons. Because say someone's in a hot air balloon, it can only go up and down. It can't steer side to side, and it just goes where the wind's pushing it. So it's only maneuverable up and down for a balloon. But an airplane, a helicopter, you can go all over the place. So it makes sense that the more maneuverable aircraft, okay, they don't have the right of way. It's the less maneuverable aircraft that gets the right of way. It kind of makes sense. And apparently it's the same way for boats. So if you have a pleasure boat, say this guy here, he's got his little motorboat going around. If there's a canoe or something, or a sailboat, this one's got a motor, so it can kind of boot around. You can get around a canoe or get around a sailboat or something like that because it's motorized. So now here we are. We are an airplane with a motor and a boat with a motor. Who's more maneuverable? So let's look at the regulations. And of course, I thought I would look it up and be like, oh, this is easy. Of course not, because it's all written in legalese. Just like I never checked it out. There's these things called the collision regulations here in Canada, and of course, it's the Department of Justice. It's basically the boating equivalent of the Canadian aviation regulations. So it's this subject to paragraph this, subject to this. It's this, but if that, then this. And so it's all kind of legalese, and you gotta kind of figure out what's what. But I never actually looked it up. I'm checking it out right here, that they actually do mention seaplanes here. So what is this? Rule number 18, section E. Okay, a seaplane on the water shall, in general, okay, what does that mean? I don't know legally. Okay, a seaplane on the water shall, in general, keep well clear of all vessels and avoid impeding their navigation. In circumstances, however, where risk of collision exists, she shall comply with the rules of this part. Okay, and then you got some rules here. So, and then there's a WIG craft. I don't know what that is. I didn't look in the definitions here. Some watercraft, I guess. When taking off, landing, and in flight near the surface, your float plane shall keep well clear of all other vessels and avoid impeding their navigation. And then subpart 2 of part F, a WIG craft, I don't know what that is. We'll say it's like a seaplane, operating on the water surface shall comply with the rules of this part as a power-driven vessel. So you're on the water. You are now a power-driven vessel, the same one as this. And also part of responsibilities between vessels there. Okay, so power-driven vessel underway shall keep out of the way of, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, here we go. A vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver. Okay, so that was so this airplane here, let's get back to my stream. This airplane here has a restricted ability to maneuver because it's getting really close to taking off. It's going really fast. You can't just like, there's no brakes on it. And you're going like, I don't know, probably 50 miles an hour. This guy over here is putting around at, I don't know, 20, 15 miles an hour or knots, or whatever you want to call it. And so this guy can't just jam the rudder and dig a float and flip over. That's not cool. But this guy, he can do a U-turn pretty quick. So I would say this guy, though he does have the right of way because they're both power-driven vessels on the water, this has a restricted ability to move, which would mean that this guy has to give way to this guy. Same as if this was a, if that was a, I don't know, like you got a great big freighter or something like that. Then the freighter can't give way to the little boat because it's got a restricted ability to move. And so there we go. So that's kind of a little bit of explanation on who has the right of way, and with all things aviation and of course nautical, it depends, and it's all it's kind of well this but that, so the most important thing is that there will be an investigation on that. We'll get to the bottom of it and hopefully avoid, I don't know, any kind of accidents that happen in the future. And that's, I don't, it'd be so easy just to pick apart and say, what if. But, I've been, I've been in aviation for a while there, and there's been accidents around and this and that. And I've had an accident, I think, once or twice, but nothing big. But so, if you hit a bird and it dents the wing, I don't know, that's that would be an accident if it's got a big dent in the wing. I hit a seagull once, had to call the insurance company, but so anyways, that's an accident. A critical surface was damaged, and then they had to fix it up. So so accidents happen, and hopefully everyone walks away, swims away. And the thing is, for float planes, it's very, very dangerous to get in an accident with those. I'm really happy that everyone got out alive, because it's if your plane is like underwater and you got to get out, it's tricky. A lot of people lost their lives that way with float planes. I think luckily in this case that the floats stayed attached to the aircraft underneath, so I don't think it sank all the way down into the water, and it didn't flip over. So that's where you get some real problems. So we got I guess the person paying the insurance on the plane wouldn't consider it lucky, but the everyone walked away, so I consider that good. Okay, so here we go. What was I going to check here next? Yeah, so I'll put a link in the description below after I do this to what I'm talking about. And well, now I know. So it's your our collision regulations. Yeah, and just watch where you're going, people. Like, I don't know, whenever I was flying a float plane, that was one of the very first things that they teach you before they teach you to take off and land and stuff. They always say, clear the area. So I'm like, what do you mean clear the area? It means like, take a look and make sure that like there's no boats coming from the side, and you got to be able to anticipate, oh, here's a power boat, he's just ripping along here, I'll just wait. He goes over there, okay, cool, he's going off to his favorite fishing hole or whatever he's doing, and off you go. Or another weird one was there, because I was flying on a frozen lake that they'd put skis on the airplane, but there'd be all these guys on their snowmobiles ripping around, and sometimes they just zip right across the runway when you're going to take off. So you got to really watch for these guys ripping along in their snowmobiles too. So it's like, got to really keep your eyes open if there's a lot of traffic around, and don't be afraid to wait or pull the throttle. Like, because if you're, you can stop, you can slow down pretty quickly in a float plane if you kill the throttle and just yank back and dig the back of the floats in. That'll give you a lot of drag to slow you down pretty quickly. But Yeah, it's complicated, and the the investigation will be going, and well, hopefully, something like that. There's probably going to be some kind of new regulation come up because every time there's an accident, there's a regulation that they make. But there was no deaths, so maybe no new regulations. But we got to be safe. So, yeah, so that was about it for today. I didn't really want to get into the details of that too much, but if you're on your float plane, have a good look before you're taking off. Anticipate that guy is going to cut you off, just like riding your motorcycle. Like just because I ride my motorcycle down the street, I have the right of way, and that guy's got a stop sign. I just, every motorcycle rider out there has been freaked out because some guy just blows a stop sign, and you're like, wow, if I was, if I was a second further up the road there, he would have just T-boned me, and I'd be toast. So, even on your motorcycle, you got the right of way, they got the stop sign, but you got to assume they're gonna run the stop sign. So, slide. I don't know. I slow down at every intersection until I can absolutely see, is he slowing down for the stop sign, and don't go ripping a million miles an hour down somewhere where you can't see if they're going to pull out in front of you. So that's a lot of motorcyclists have problems that way. So you gotta you gotta kind of put that safety through everything, whether it's your motorcycle, your car, your boat, airplane. Excuse me. And yeah, so that's about it. So we'll see what kind of questions, concerns, uh dad jokes that we have here. Does right and left work the same in metric? Absolutely. You're an engineer, you should know that. Anyways, what do we got here? Oh, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Most of the small lakes in Kansas have a general rotation that most people have agreed upon. That is, this is a clockwise lake. Do lakes with plains follow this standard? I've never really heard of that, to tell you the truth. I would say if there's going to be any airplane that's getting into the lake, it won't be that small. So it'll be a pretty good sized lake or a pretty long river where you wouldn't have a clockwise or counterclockwise lake. I've never heard of it myself, but it's a good idea. And, that's just good for boating. What would you call that? It's not airmanship, seamanship, I guess, something like that. What do we got here? Okay, what do we got here? Echronoplane. Okay. Wrench is talking about an, what is that? Eroncoplane. Okay, I don't know what that is. Yep. Oh, is that great big one that they had on the Black Sea? I gotta Google that here. What is an Eroncoplane? Eroncoplane. There we go. Live researching on the superpilotish channel. Oh, I don't think I spelled that right. What do we got here? Oh, a chronoplane. A chronoplan. Okay, there we go. Chronoplan. Chronoplane. Oh, that one. Yeah. That's a pretty cool, cool Soviet engineering thing. The Ekranoplan, Soviet ground effect vehicle. Oh yeah, very cool. Those good old Soviets just stick a whole bunch of great big engines on something and make it go. Very cool. And what do we got here? Oh, here we go. Do busy seaplane airports have waiting for runway? I'm number 3 for takeoff. This particular there are, where it happened, I think it was Cole Harbor out in British Columbia. They actually have, like, I haven't really looked at it too much, but they have a control tower there, and they kind of have like marked off water runways with buoys there. So technically, Mr. Boat here shouldn't have been on the runway. That's what I've heard. So Yeah, generally, so that would be for a busy area, like out in, out in Vancouver. I don't know if Coal Harbor is up by Vancouver. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of float planes out there by Vancouver, Victoria, out that way. Never been there, but I hear there's a lot, and they actually, yeah, so they do have runways there. Um, so it would be that would be, I don't actually have an answer for that, because where I would look for it is there's a water aerodrome supplement that you can buy, and it gives you all the information about all the water aerodromes, so what frequencies they use, stuff like that. Any place I've ever flown, it was a water aerodrome, but it just means that, like, there's no runway. It's just like, hey, it's a great big lake. They would have a unicom you could call up for wave information, weather information, wind information, stuff like that. You could get a airport advisory, see what's going on. Okay, Joe's out fishing at the end of the point. Watch out for him, stuff like that. But yeah, so any place I've been, it's just like, aim your plane into the wind and give her. So okay, okay, okay. I asked about what is a wig, a chronal plant, and smaller ones like that. Yeah, water. Oh, in ground effect? No, wing in ground effect. Oh well, here I am thinking out thinking out loud here. I'll Google it later. Or actually, nah. Anyways, I won't waste any of your time. Hey, watch this guy Googling stuff in his basement. But okay, so that is yeah, wing in ground effect, wing in ground. Anyways, okay, so that's about it. Is it a plane? Is it a boat? It is still a boat on the water, and if you have your float plane, once you get in the air, you are, or even, I think it even said if you're like close to the water. So if you just took off, you're still technically kind of a boat. So anyways, keep your eyes open, don't hit anything, play things safe. And yeah, that's about it. It's Monday. Start the week off slow. I got kind of things should be working out for next Monday, a week from today. I'm going to be, if things work out right, I will be doing an interview a week from today with somebody, but it's nothing's definite until it's totally definite, but it should be a pretty good next Monday interview. It should be pretty cool. Looking forward to it. So, yeah, that's about it. I told you what I'm doing next Monday, maybe, but I'll be back on Wednesday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, and we'll just kind of shut her down. So, thank you for watching. Bye.